everyone, welcome back to my class. Or if you are new here, then welcome. Today we are going to cover another chapter, rather a poem called Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda. First, let us begin by learning something about the poet. Pablo Neruda was born as Ricardo Eliezer Neftali Reyes Basualto in a small Chilean town in 1904. His father did not want him to be a poet, so at the age of 16 he began to write under the pen name Pablo Neruda. Pablo Neruda published his first collection of poems at the age of 19. He went on to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. And also he has rescued 2,000 refugees and spent 3 years in political exile. He also ran for president of Chile. Neruda was one of the most celebrated poets of the 20th century, but also was one of the most accessible and controversial. Originally written in Spanish, his poems often use straightforward language and everyday experience to create lasting impact. The poem Keeping Quiet discusses the need of maintaining peace and silence. He stresses upon being quiet and harmless to human beings, animals, and environment. He suggests that in order to maintain peace and harmony, it is required to stop and introspect ourselves. The poem is written in free verse and it does not follow any rhyming scheme. The poet talks about 3 important things here in this poem. First is peace and unity. Second is introspection, which means to reflect on oneself or to self-observe. And third is mutual understanding. So now let's begin to learn the poem in detail. I'm going to explain it to you stanza-wise. Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda. And now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. The poet here requests everyone to count till 12 in their own mind and stop for a while. He chose 12 for several reasons. 12 hints at 12 hours of the day, which rules our life. It also refers to 12 months of a year. Also, it can also mean 12 zodiac sign, which is believed to be the controlling force of our lives. So, 12 may be aimed for a preparation for all to be ready to plunge into the state of silence. The poet wants us to stop for a while and introspect our lives. In the second stanza, he says, "For what's on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much." The poet urges everyone not to speak any language. As we all know that there are different languages spoken in different parts of the earth, which sometimes becomes a barrier in our way for peace. So he asks people not to speak. Not only this, but he also wants us to stop moving our arms. By the way, arms has 2 meanings here. It is a pun. Pun, which means a word having 2 or more meanings. So here arms has 2 meanings. One, which is a part of our body, our arms, and second one means weapon, which is used during war. So here he is asking us to not to move and be still and not move our body and our arms, and he is also asking us to lay down our arms and ammunitions, the weapons that is used during war. So here it means that he wants to make peace. In the next stanza, the poet says, "It would be an exotic moment without rush, without engines, we would all be together in a sudden strangeness." He means that when everything will come to a standstill, it will be a rare situation. No one will be in a rush, there will be no engines running. Everyone will be calm and quiet, and everyone will be united with each other in a strange atmosphere. Why is this atmosphere strange? Because this has never happened before. Now take for example the current situation we are in. There's very little rush, There's very little movement of engines, and we are all together in this fight, united with each other, and there is mutual understanding among people. So, this is what happens when people stop, and when chaos stops, the calmness automatically follows. So, if everybody stops for a while in their places and not move, then there will be calmness and peace and understanding, and people will come together and will be united in this strange, sudden atmosphere. Next, he says, fisherman in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would not look at his hurt hands. What he means is that fishermen will also stop and not harm whales in the sea. This means that the poet is urging everyone not to harm animals. He gives example of the whales which are being hunted for the purpose of food and trade. He wants people to calm down so that they can stop and see what they have achieved and lost so far. He gives example of the man who gathers salt whose hands are hurt, because he wants everybody to stop for a second in order to see and feel their achievements and how much they have lost for the sake of attaining material things. Those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade, doing nothing. So what the poet means is that people who exploit the green wealth of nature by deforestation or mining or fishing, and even the soldiers who uses their weapons to kill their fellow human beings, they need some time to introspect into the consequences of their actions. So they are merely doing their job or just following orders. So he wants people to put on clean clothes, and by clean clothes he means he wants people to adopt new approach towards life and to realize that killing so many people is not a victory. He wants all of us to be united as one and consider our enemy to be our brother. Here he is promoting brotherhood, peace and unity. Next, he says, what I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. If we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving, and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt the sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. So he suggests that everybody should stop their work, but he does not want everybody to be idle. What he wants is that people should stop for some time and analyze the results of their deeds. So further he says that people are continuously working to achieve their task without even thinking about their results. They fear of death, and therefore they want to achieve most of the things before they die. So here he urges them to stop for a while and take some moment to relish on whatever they have achieved till now. And this is going to help them to skip the sadness which has become so prominent in our lives. So at last the poet says, perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Now I'll count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. Here the poet asks everyone to take lesson from Mother Nature. Because during winter, life seems so stagnant as ice covers everything and sucks all the traces of life. However, what seems dead at the moment instantly blossoms into life with the onset of spring. So what he is implying here is that stillness is always succeeded by a period of rejuvenation. Hence, we must not be scared of being still or keeping quiet. Just as nature, our apparent inactivity will be awarded with growth and prosperity. Finally, he ends by saying that now we must all count up to 12 and become quiet. So in the concluding lines, the poet quietly leaves the scene after initiating a process of introspection and reflection within us. Now that he has unloaded this message into our minds, his work as a poet here is done. Now it is upon us to follow his dictum in order to lead a meaningful existence in which we can benefit both on individual and societal level. So this is all about the poem Keeping Quiet. I hope this video was meaningful to you, and I hope you could understand the poem through the video. So this is all for today. Thank you very much. If you have any questions or queries, please leave in the comment section down below. I will answer them for you. So thank you once again. Take care and see you soon.